Well, good morning, folks. Welcome on this first Sunday in August, and we ask you to join us on the chorus part of our first song, I Release. Cindy will start us out.
There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now you've got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
It's always so synchronous that
Synchronicity.
what you guys sing and start with is what I would like to lead into as well. Good morning. I'm Bedford Hines, and your chairperson today, and welcome to those that are here in person and those that are joining online. Either way, we are indeed one in God and spirit and love. And we can let go of all the strife, which last week I was presenting the idea that the cause of all of our difficulties in the human domain has to do with feeling that we are separate. We're separate from our source, which is the infinite God. And as long as we feel that we're separate, then we have to do some kind of compromise. We have to find some way to assuage our own fears and difficulties. But the ways we'll find to do that are going to be to achieve something in the world, whether it's status or money or conditions or health or whatever it is. But it's always a matter of seek, and as the Course in Miracles says, seek but do not find is the ego's mantra. And so we're always seeking because we think we're separate. Well, what if we're not really separate, though? And that every time we do have some kind of difficulty, be it emotional, physical, mental, or any sort, we're succumbing to the idea that we are separate from our source. And as a result, it just compounds the problems that we face. But what if that's not really the case? And that doesn't necessarily mean that automatically all problems are vanish. Rather, I think that we can ground ourselves in a comfort of the truth. I've been reading, because of a group event coming up tomorrow, a book by a person who was, she and her husband were members of Unity years ago, Al and Lauren Belge. And this book is Near Death in the ICU, which she published many years ago now. She's an ICU physician, and as such, she is always dealing with patients that are in dire need physically, in a lot of problems. And as a result, she's heard from many of her patients, either while they're still in the ICU but recovering, or later, that they've had these what she calls anomalous experiences of the infinite in some ways, of out of body, of encountering the often referenced light of love. And she's written about these in this book, Near Death in the ICU. It's really wonderful. I recommend it. But it's really a source of comfort for all of us. Intellectually, we probably all agree here that we are more than this physical body. But in terms of when our physical body is suffering in some ways, it's hard to kind of be comforted without some palliative care. And that's not saying we shouldn't get it. Yes, we should. It's just a saying that we can oftentimes succumb to the anxiety of the finitude of our physical self. Well, stories like this are really heartwarming. So I want to read from one because it talks about no separation. This is Lauren's account. I've had this is talking about people with heart problems. I've had 2 people in 20 years tell me of having a sensation of shooting out of their bodies when injected with the liquid that allows the heart to be scanned for blockages. Both of these patients describe being able to observe the whole scene from up above their bodies. They shared in great detail what they observed, that they couldn't possibly have seen unless they were watching from above. Details that were later confirmed. But for Alan, it was different. Here's Alan's story. When Alan was injected with the liquid that would travel to his heart and be taken up by the muscle, not only did he have the sensation of shooting out of his body through the top of his head, he also heard the doctor call for a code blue, because he was experiencing a cardiac arrest. Soon after hearing this, there was a brief moment where he observed a vast field beyond the wall of the room where the test was taking place. He briefly saw what he perceived to be a large, luminous being, and then it disappeared. He went on to describe feeling tethered to his body by a cord, like a bungee, and bobbling up and down for a short while like a giant balloon, before flying off into space at a great rate of speed. With his consciousness still attached to his body by what felt like a starchy elastic cord, he was propelled up and away from his body into what seemed like outer space. He could see stars whipping by. After a while, he felt like a flash of a moment. He saw a tiny dot of light ahead of him. He watched this bright light grow from the size of a tiny pinhole far away in the darkness to a rapidly expanding, brilliant white light rushing toward him, growing larger by the millisecond. He had the distinct sensation that as it moved quickly toward him, he was moving equally as fast toward this light. He also perceived that it was a growing in the warmth and intensity it radiated. For a very brief instant, he came to an abrupt halt as he merged completely with the light. In that moment, he felt intense, almost unbearable peace and love. The radiance was all-encompassing. He was consumed by it. In that brief moment, which he described as infinity in a second, he felt an overwhelming sense of unity with everything. He was a part of the all, and the all was a part of him. There was no distinction, no feeling of separateness, only complete connectedness with everything. He was in a state of complete peace, love, and connection. This is just one of many, many stories that she shares, but it's really comforting to hear first-hand accounts of people like you and me that go through something like this and know beyond a shadow of a doubt. It's changed everything, almost for all those people that have experienced it. It changes everything. And she even accounts some that they couldn't accept it, and that completely enveloped it within the framework that we all have, but some hold on to this framework, which is basically materialistic and physical, and try to encompass everything through that, and it can't. Fortunately, Lauren is one of the people who has been well educated in hard science, but has willingly opened herself up to the truth that these people are experiencing. She doesn't have to say, I understand it all. In fact, she clearly says, I don't understand it all, but I'm open to it. I'm willing to hear it. I'm willing to receive it as a truth that those people indeed have. Well, I think it's a truth that we can all be comforted by, too. And so I share that as just another very profound and powerful experience that we're not separate. We truly aren't. And so it is. Let us continue. So let's go to our vision statement and say it with commitment and care and concern together. A world powerfully transformed through shared spiritual awakening. And our mission together, advancing the movement of spiritual awakening and transformation through unity, a positive path for spiritual living. And our values together, abundance, acceptance, community, diversity, integrity, joy, and love. And we celebrate our children with this affirmation together. Unity of Appleton sees the divinity in all children and nurtures their unfolding spirituality. I think we'll go on to the daily word, right? But that's all right. We'll come back to, okay, here we go. We'll go back to the song in just a moment. The daily word, truth. I speak my truth with clarity and compassion. Living in an increasingly polarized world, I am aware not everyone will share my perspective or see life the way I do. As much as I want to live harmoniously with others, I also want to stand up for what I believe, what I know is true for me. I appreciate that others feel the same way about their beliefs. I speak my truth. I center myself in my divinity while acknowledging the divinity of all others. I am honest and grounded, staying steady if someone does not agree with me. Likewise, I receive others' truth as I would want them to receive mine. The presence of God is within me. I am a spiritual being living with integrity, speaking words of truth with spiritual power. And from Zechariah in the Bible, these are the things that you shall do. Speak the truth to one another. Render in your gates judgments that are true, and make for peace. So let us together speak the line at the top. Truth. I speak my truth with clarity and compassion. And now the song.
Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better way to live now. We can have it if we try. and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better way to live now. We can have it if we try. What if love was all that's spoken around the world, around the world? Then all that love, not just a token, it would spread and grow and unfurl. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better way to live now. We can have it if we try. You can learn to love each other when we've tried to understand. Accepting people as they are now puts the key to peace in your hand. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better way to live now. We can have it if we try.
Good morning. It's a lovely day. And we have somebody who isn't normally here, which is wonderful, Reverend Chase. And I'm going to read you her bio that she sent me. Reverend Chase is passionate about family and facilitating spiritual exploration for people of all ages. She encourages people to expand their spiritual knowledge and integrate it into their daily lives. She enjoys teaching and training. Biblical studies and the 12 powers are her favorite subjects to explore and teach. She's currently a member of Unity of Dayton's prayer team, Unity Urban Ministerial School Scholarship Committee, and a student advisor, and the Reformed Unity Worldwide Ministries curriculum writing team. She's a busy lady, evidently. So please welcome this morning, Reverend Chase.
Thank you. I so appreciate that welcome. And I do feel so welcomed by your community every time I come. And so I feel that connection and the love. And I do see the synchronicity happening with the songs and talking, the stories. And I think the time we're done, message and meditation, we'll feel all that again too in another way. So thank you. Thank you so much for including me in your circle today. So I'm sharing the strong silent type of prayer. That's what we're going to experience together today. Now it's a ways off, but Unity's World Day of Prayer theme for 2025 is Be Still and Know. And they have the affirmation, in the stillness I awaken to divine wisdom. And reflecting on this, there's 3 Bible characters that come to mind to me that awaken to divine wisdom through prayer. Job, Jacob, and Nehemiah. I'm sure others come to mind for you too, but those are the 3 we'll touch on today. And Job suffers a multitude of hardships and many disasters in his life. Today we might just say his life was a hot mess. And I came across a guidepost article, How to Pray Like Job. And it points out that Job didn't mince words with God. He didn't hold back. He didn't just spout platitudes. Job prayed his true thoughts and feelings. And the author goes on to say that, go ahead and cry and moan and lay it all out. But wait, too. Prayer is what you rely on and what's in your heart and mind. That's there. And so Job did reach a point of silence eventually after he did all that he cried and moaned and laid it out. And he had this solid faith. and afterwards his prosperity was restored. Job, speaking to God in Job 40, verse 5, 42, and verses 2 to 10, here's what it has to say. I have spoken once, and I will not answer twice. I know that you can do all things, and that no purpose of yours can be thwarted. And the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before. But Job got to that point of waiting before this happened. So I affirm that in the stillness, Job awakens to divine wisdom. Now Jacob has a vision where he wrestles with a man who represents God just before he reconciled with his brother. It was night, and Jacob was sent everybody away and all his possessions. So he was alone at this nighttime. And he had a vision, a prayer time with God. And through that vision, Job is transformed. His name changed from Job to Israel, from supplanter, one who supersedes another by treachery, to one who prevails with God. To get to this point, Jacob had already been praying and following the guidance that he had received. So awakening to divine wisdom is a journey. And Jacob really was on a journey. And so we too may need to wrestle with our concepts of God, our past relationships and actions, so that we can reach the stillness. And knowing that being still isn't always just quiet and struggle-free. And in the stillness, Jacob awakens to divine wisdom. Nehemiah is another one of those characters that I feel has awakened to divine wisdom. Nehemiah prayed throughout the process of rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem, reestablishing the Jewish culture after war had scattered and dispersed people. When he first heard about the distress and the disgrace of the Jews left in Jerusalem and of the disrepair of the city, Nehemiah wept. In Nehemiah 1, verse 4, we have, when I heard these things, I sat down and wept. For some days I mourned and fasted and prayed before the God of heaven. So taking that in, realize that Nehemiah prayed before he spoke or acted. And after that time in prayer, Nehemiah insightfully answered the king's questions. He rallied families, created teams, and he skillfully brought about social changes and thwarted any opposition that was there. Nehemiah was removed from Jerusalem, and yet he returns to Jerusalem, the city of peace, and restores it and becomes its governor. In the stillness, Nehemiah awakens to divine wisdom. One of the most powerful transforming prayers I have ever prayed was just a single word followed by silence. And it wasn't so much the word, but all the emotion and thoughts that were behind the word. There was a surrendering, a recognition that I had done all I could. It expressed the feelings, the fears, and the true desires that were in my heart. Words had kept that at bay. And guess what? Yeah, after that prayer, I knew what to do. I knew what action to take. I didn't know where it was going to lead, but I knew what to do, and I was able to do it. So in the stillness, I awakened to divine wisdom. The silent prayer is powerful. I want you to recall the woman who reached out from the crowd and touched the hem of Jesus' robe. In an instant, she was healed. In the still, one awakens to divine wisdom. And then take Jesus. He separated himself for others to be still and pray. He did this on a mountain, usually. That's where he went. Metaphysically, we know that that mountain represents that high state of consciousness. After he dismissed them, he went up the mountainside by himself to pray. Matthew 14:23. And it was on a mountainside that Jesus taught the Beatitudes, guidance on how to live. In that higher state of consciousness, you receive that wisdom. In the stillness, Jesus awakens to divine wisdom. One of the things that happens when we're done praying with words is that our heart mind takes over and we show up as we are. Praying silently is expressing feeling, allowing our heart mind and our intuition to express. As we do this, we begin to understand and know that we are known to God already. Yes. That guidepost article, Praying Like Job, states, so pray like Job. Pray your true thoughts and feelings. God sees and knows those things anyway. But C.S. Lewis said, we must learn to lay before him what is in us, not what ought to be in us. Matthew 6-8 states, and when you pray, do not keep on babbling, for your Father knows what you need before you ask. Know that you are known to God. In stillness, you awaken to divine wisdom. Well, among the resources provided by Unity World Headquarters are children's prayers and articles about that. And one article is A Prayer for Children, Ways to Pray by Stephen Ray. And here's a quote from Stephen's article. Our thoughts are prayers, as the song said. And indeed, our thoughts can be considered one method of prayer. But there are many more ways we can pray. Seek the higher consciousness and know that God is within us. Do you love music or painting? Spending time caring for pets or other animals? Is exercise a joyful activity? Perhaps you love to write, draw, cook, or create something through art and crafts. Using our talents and skills is a way we can pray. When we do something we love, that positive feeling is God expressing through us and out into the world. And that is the highest form of prayer. And that's the end of the quote from that article. The positive feeling mentioned is not about words, right? That positive feeling radiating from us is a silent prayer. And I invite you to listen to these two prayers included in the article. A prayer for children to use. In God's loving presence, I know I am free. Free to be the divine and loving person I was made to be. I also affirm, I am free to pray in many ways. Prayer is my sacred time to connect with the divine. I know I can do so with words, music, nature, and anything that brings me joy. I am grateful for the gift of prayer and a shared family prayer. As we pray, as we as a family are grateful and blessed to be who each of us was created to be. We are also grateful for the many ways we can connect with God in prayer. We know that each is a special and loving way to experience Spirit, and we feel joy in doing so. Prayer is a sacred and loving connection with Spirit. And so that is, yes. Stillness is prayer, and there are many ways to reach it. And so I invite us now to experience the strong, silent type of prayer as a community in a fresh and creative way, inspired by the numerous suggestions in the book Praying in Color by Sybil Macbeth, and my adult daughter's experience in the Quaker meeting she attends. We're going to doodle a prayer. And I'll explain things a smidgen, and we're going to, then we'll just disengage that thinking self and allow our heart and intuition to guide our prayer. So I first just want to make sure that you guys have the supplies that you needed. Each person should have a trifold piece of paper, a pen and a pencil, some kind of clipboard or something to support the doodling and writing on the paper. And Laura, if you haven't, go ahead and switch to the slide that has an image. So we have an example of this prayer doodles. Just giving you some ideas so that you can wrap maybe your thought around it, since this may be a new idea for you. You can see that the doodles can be any shape or size, or just no shape. You can add lines, you can cross-hatch, fill in with dots. You just do what you want. You're free to draw things that actually look like real objects, like flowers and trees, people, cars, whatever. And you can write words, one or two that come to you. It's just not journal. We're not looking at that. Anything goes in the doodle. You don't have to be an artist to doodle. And if you would switch to the next slide over, there's a second slide. We'll sort of see a little bit more exactly what we as a community are going to do. And I'll give instructions as we go through this. But you're going to draw a shape on your section of the trifold, the third of the page that you have. And within that shape, you'll write the name of God, a name of God, and then you'll doodle for a minute or so, and then we'll draw another shape on the page, and then within that shape, write the name, person, organization, or the situation you are holding in prayer. And we'll doodle some more. And then we're going to pass that trifold piece of paper to someone else to take the next blank section and work with and do their prayer. And then once again, so we'll do that 3 times to fill that one side of the page. And I just encourage that you take these doodles after we're done and display them as a community so that you can hold each other in prayer and hold each other's requests in prayer and see those in a visual space. So I hope you have a space in your community where you can take these and display them. And so now we can flip back from those slides back to the regular display. And I will go ahead and give you instruction, and we'll experience this. And the music team will probably have some background music going, which is great, so that'll be good. And we'll just do this in a quiet, focused way. So the last sort of intellectual thing to let you know is that you should have the folded side on your lap just to make it easier for you. So let's take a deep breath and become centered. This is a time for intuition to guide, to be still and know. Release and let go. Let ego be gone. Somewhere on your page, draw a shape. Any shape. Be a square, ziggly lines, whatever. Within that shape, write the name of God that comes to you. Write whatever quality of God that's speaking to you in the moment. Beauty, healer, light, love, wisdom. And over the next minute, be one with this, with whatever you have written. Focus in on that name and just doodle and draw whatever shapes flow from your hand as you concentrate on the presence of Spirit. And if you feel stuck, switch to your non-dominant hand. That in the stillness, I awaken to divine wisdom. I invite you to draw another shape somewhere on the page. And within that shape, write the name, the initials, the situation, or something that represents that organization or situation to you within that shape. Whatever it is that you're holding in prayer. You don't have to overthink it. Just do it. And in the silence, doodle some more around that shape and even the other one that you've already created. Knowing that in the stillness, I awaken to divine wisdom. We are thankful for these moments. So I invite you to just take your drawing and draw a few lines across the fold of the page into the next section, not very far. And then hand off your prayer to somebody else, and they'll work with that next blank page with those connecting lines from your doodle. Hand those off to the person near you. And I trust that you'll take another deep breath, centering yourself in that. And on the blank page facing you now, draw another shape. And within that shape, write a name for God. It can be the same one that you just worked with. It can be a different one. Comforter, higher power, universe, peace. Whatever is speaking to you right now, write that name, that quality of God into that shape. For the next minute, focus on that name you have written and affirm, in the stillness, I awaken to divine wisdom. I invite you to draw another shape somewhere on your page. And within that shape, write the name of the person, organization, or situation you're holding in prayer. And yes, that can be something different than the last time you just did this. It can be the same or a different prayer. We are offering the person into God's care without necessarily knowing what to say or what that person needs. And we affirm in the silence, in the stillness, I awaken to divine wisdom. I am open and receptive to doodling. And in this, doodle some more on this page. I appreciate being in the flow of creativity as I pray. I invite you to draw a few lines from your doodle across the next fold in the page to the next blank section. And then after you've done that, staying centered. Just draw these few little lines to the next page. Pass the drawing and the prayer doodles on to the next person. And they can begin to do their prayer. This will be the third time that we're doing this. So I invite you to take that slow breath in. Feel the presence of Spirit. And for the third time, for the last time, for this time, draw somewhere on that page. And within it, write a name for God. Write whatever quality comes to mind. Peace, love, joy. I am that I am. Concentrate on this name that you have written and just doodle around it, affirming in this stillness, I awaken to divine wisdom. I invite you now to draw that second shape, the next shape on that page. Within that, write the name, the situation, the person, the organization that you're holding in prayer this time. And in the silence, doodle with what is there before you, affirming in the stillness, I awaken to divine wisdom. I am thankful for the experience of God flowing in, through, and as me. I invite you to hand the page off to somebody else you haven't yet connected to. And once you have that page, go ahead and open it up and take it in. Open it up in this full form. Just take it in. Together we have reached that higher state of consciousness. We have connected with God, and we have prayed with others through this experience of the strong, silent type of prayer. I invite you to give thanks for being part of Unity of Appleton, a loving, compassionate, spiritual community praying with one another. And in the stillness, know, in the stillness, Unity of Appleton awaken to divine wisdom. And so it is. Amen. And peace be with you. So it is. I can't wait until we hear later. I love the talking and sharing that we'll do afterwards. So I look forward to that. And I turn the service over to whatever is next on this schedule.
It is our distinct privilege as a wonderful segue from what we've been experiencing to continue this deepening of our awareness. And so I invite once again to connect in that deepest part of ourselves that knows all is good, that all is light and love and joy, even though it may be filtered in ways that we aren't always aware of. It's there, second by second, moment by moment, infusing every cell of our body with the truth. And we are freed in that truth. We are released in that truth from anything that seems to obscure it. And as we realize that, the light is brighter than ever, shining upon us with that love and the joy and peace that is our home. It is our reality. It is our life. And so it is. Amen. Now we move from prayer to our affirmation of prosperity. This is the time when those of us who feel Unity of Appleton is our spiritual home practice putting spirit first in our financial life. This practice prospers the spiritual community we love and supports our own spiritual growth and prosperity. Please give whatever amount Spirit guides you to give, whether it is in person or electronically. Whatever that amount is, take that gift into your heart and bless it with your love. Feel free to bless the plate as it passes by. Let yourself feel grateful to God in you as your one source. Then please join in our affirmation of prosperity. Together, Unity of Appleton is alive with the energy of Spirit in the flow of divine abundance and radiant with unlimited possibilities. And we celebrate our giving and receiving together by affirming, divine love in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I joyfully give and willingly receive. I give in love, and I trust God as my source.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I hear Spirit gently say, there is only love.
how utterly wonderful and grateful we are. There is only love, and we know that in our hearts. Our hearts echo it all the time and sending the rays of love out. And these are gifts, are part of those rays, and they go to enrich everything. Thank you, and so it is. Announcements. Board update. The board is excited to share our new strategic goals as well as an updated mission statement, vision statement, and values. We will be debuting them starting this month after the service during the discussion portion of the service. The strategic goals will have their debut in today's discussion. Wonderful. Join Deb Walker for an in-depth discussion of the Unity booklet, The Power of Faith to Heal, Wednesday, August 6th at 1. This compilation of what Unity ministers have learned about healing shows you how to affirm health, pray health, appreciate health in all its forms. Men and Women's Mastermind is coming up this Saturday, August 9th from 8:30 to 10. Everyone is welcome. School supplies drive ends next Sunday. The handout on the back of that little handout gives all the different items that are also listed here. Please bring your donations to Unity, and they're all in the back over there in the box. Ongoing book study at Unity of Appleton. Sundays, we resume it again this Sunday, 11:30, 12:30. All are welcome at any time. You don't have to have been a part of it prior. Email Unity at unityofappleton.org for more information. World Peace Festival is coming up. Update. These organizations will be at the festival. It's growing and growing and growing. Unity of Appleton, of course, Hate Free Outagamie, Esther Fox Valley, League of Women Voters, Bean Collective, Rights of Nature Wisconsin, Fox Valley Advocates for Peace, the M Effect, Clean Water Action Council, Mountains of Hope, Ask a Vegan, Appleton Boy Choir, Secular Alliance, Patriotic Millionaires. Help us get the word out. Watch for our weekly Facebook post to share. Were you going to say something, Cindy? Okay. And if you want to donate, want to help out our World Peace Festival, we really need monetary donations, as the company that gave us a grant last year is no longer doing community grants. This festival is completely funded by donations. We do not receive any funding from Unity of Appleton. There is a donation jar on the Connect and Serve table. There is also a QR code for our new fundraising platform, Zephy. That's exciting. Check it out. We also need a volunteer to ask businesses for donation for items for raffle baskets for the event. Interested in being a raffle volunteer? Talk to Cindy.
This is where I come in. This just came up in this last week. I actually had a quilt customer that came in and was telling me she runs a very large fundraiser for her church in Neenah. And she gave me some information on what they do. And they run a very successful raffle fundraiser. And so I have some handouts for you. If you would like to go to businesses that you know, perhaps you know, everybody knows somebody. Perhaps you know someone that owns a business, you frequent a business, maybe you go to a restaurant a lot. I have some paperwork you could bring to them and ask them, would they like to donate a gift certificate to the Peace Festival? It's a wonderful, wonderful cause. Who wouldn't support peace? Restaurants, is it a hair salon? Maybe it's someone you don't know. Are you, if you take this, it does the talking for you. So I will have these set out for you. And also, we would like to have raffle baskets. We'll do a silent raffle where people will buy tickets and then put them in the jar in front of the item that they would like. And this tells how to make a raffle basket. And it gives you all kinds of ideas on things you could put in the basket. Feel free to join with other people and make some of the ideas are like a birthday basket, a dining out tonight basket, a game night basket, a mom's day off basket. And then we'll wrap them up. I'm gonna see if I can get some donations. She got a lot of donations of baskets from St. Vincent de Paul. So I'm gonna check that out and see if I can get some baskets, or if you have some baskets or nice containers at home. And let's see what we can get before September 1st and bring them in. And we'll have them at our table at the Peace Festival. We're going to have a lot of people with the boy choir coming, and all these speakers. So it's a wonderful time to do the fundraising for that. So we'll give you all the help you need. If you have questions, my email and phone number is on here. So please, feel free and put your brave pants on. We can do this. We can contact people and ask them. My customer would just go to people and say, we have this event, and they were raising money for their church. And so many people donated, and we will put their name out there too, that they donated. So, and we have a tax ID to give them, that they can use this for their taxes as a write-off too. So please, the sooner the better, because we only have 1 month to do this. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Cindy. And again, the donations are going to the World Peace Festival, not to Unity. I think that's important to stress too. So that's exciting news, and we've got a lot more coming. We can all be a part of that. Let us now stand, if you can, and let's do our prayer for protection together.
The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Thank you.